you have to go inside and you find something that makes you happy, whatever that is, and then you just let it out.
But improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to closer to my dream. Swimming over me, I'm getting high. Closer to my dream. I'm getting higher and higher. Feel it in my sleep. Sometimes it feels like I'll never go past you. Sometimes it feels like
What's going on, people? What's going on? Give me a second. Let me get it together. Close this door. Make sure I'm live. If you are in the place to be, please let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. That way I don't have to go into this app to check. Nothing but a thumbs up. I guess you'll make me check anyways. Okay, perfect. I think I'm good. Okay, I am good. Perfect. What's going on, people? What's going on? It is Monday, the 25th of October. We are in the fourth quarter. I appreciate everyone who is checking in with me, whether it's on the replay or whether it's live. I love you nonetheless. It's been a long day. It's been a long Monday. We're getting back into the groove of things. This is like day one. This is the first day of the rest of my life. This is the first day of the rest of my life. And I'm not gonna go too much into details into it, but I'm feeling good. Conquered some things, got uncomfortable today, and that is what this thing is all about. And I want to talk today. We'll talk a little bit about business building, but prior to business building, let's get into some real estate. Okay, perfect. I hope you all can see my screen. I wanted to show you some things. So I saw this. This came across my feed, my Instagram feed. I checked into it, The Real Deal, and followed them on Instagram. Lots of information, lots of great information in regards to real estate news. And here's this company, and I mentioned this company before. I'm letting you see it again. I'm highlighting it. Blackstone. And it states that Blackstone, which is a hedge fund, reported a blockbuster third quarter. And I'm sure if you can't read it, I'm reading it for you. The best in its 36-year history. 36-year history. Now, you can just look at the numbers. The assets under management swelled 25% to $731 billion. That's money. $731 billion, and all behind real estate. The workhorse behind that growth is real estate. The real estate investment grew to $230 billion. $230 billion. And I'm going to see if it talks about it, but one of the things that Blackstone is is that they recently bought the Home Partners of America. Now, what is Home Partners of America? Home Partners of America is a real estate company. Well, it's not a real estate company. It's a company that allows people to rent the properties before they buy it. So basically, you would go out into the marketplace with your agent, and I mean, you can just have a 500 credit score as long as you do have to qualify. And in regards to how much you can afford in regards to your rent. So you do have to qualify in regards to your income, but you can have a 500 credit score and they will rent the property to you. And plus they'll charge a little bit over and that will go towards the payment. They give you like a year for you to go out and be able to get a mortgage to go buy the property. But if you don't buy the property and you don't decide to renew your lease, what they'll do is, I mean, you pretty much leave, and I think you leave a little bit of down payment with them, and then they rent the property out to somebody else who may also want that deal, where it's a single family rental. It's essentially a rent to own. I personally think, because I'm a part of their program, they may be a little bit expensive, but if you're really hemming and hawing in regards to buying property because you don't know what the market is going to do, this might be a good opportunity for you. I mean, if you're thinking in the next year that the market is going to tank, you can essentially get into this property at, you're really renting it, but you're not obligated to buy it. After the year, you can say, you know what, I don't want to buy the property. You'll be refunded a partial amount of your money, and you can go on and rent, or you can go buy something else if that's what you plan on doing. But essentially, I wanted you to take a look at Blackstone. And a lot of people think it's the buyers who are, the ones who are, making the prices the way that they are, making the prices, I wouldn't say skyrocket, but the prices high. But it's actually firms like Blackstone, these hedge funds that are buying a lot of the affordable real estate and turning around and renting it. They're even offering sellers offers. They're giving sellers offers above, a little bit above their asking price, or if they're not in the market to sell, sellers are getting, or people, homeowners, are getting offers from these hedge fund companies. Why? Why would they get an offer from the hedge fund company? Why would a hedge fund company buy single family homes? Because you're guaranteed income. It's guaranteed income, and hedge funds they don't want 7%. Most hedge funds are fine with 1 to 2 to 3%. Actually, that's what they would prefer, that because that's a stable return. A stable return is 1 to 3%. You can get that forever. And since your home, shelter is a necessity. Shelter is a necessity. You will have to live somewhere. If they're essentially, like I was telling you before, they're essentially changing the paradigm. They're changing the paradigm in regards to people wanting to rent or buy homes. Let me pull this thing back on my beautiful face. They're changing the paradigm from people from buying homes to renting homes. So you have a renter for life. And as a landlord, why wouldn't you want someone who's going to be in your home for 20 years and paying rent on time? Right? At that point in time, you've lived in the property for 5-10 years. You kind of treat it like it's your own. So I want you all to pay attention to it, because the prices aren't really going to, I don't care what they say. Even if we have this huge foreclosure crisis like some people are anticipating, but it's not going to happen. And I'm going to tell you why. You have a lot of savvy buyers, and you have hedge funds out here with money that are willing to pick up these properties. once they figure out the logistics. And that's an interesting thought process as well. Getting into home maintenance, because they're going to need people to maintain a bunch of these different properties. So if they don't hire, kind of similar to what those BPOs used to do in 2007, 2008, they hire some property managers that'll take care of a certain area, West Palm Beach, maybe half of Palm Beach County. You get paid, you get paid, contracted out. You get paid to go in there to make sure everything, capital maintenance is happening in those properties, and people are paying. So I want you all to pay attention to that name, Blackstone, and watch as they come to a neighborhood near you. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk business. On Friday, I was honored. I'm so excited that I was able to be in this business building retreat, hosted by Danny Morell, a huge real estate coach. Built a huge real estate business in California. Recently sold it to Corporate Global Living. He's out in Texas. He has this tremendous program happening that, kind of goes into real estate, it goes into spirituality, and it goes into building, great businesses. But it really starts and focuses on you. Like, it's all about the mindset. It's all about the mindset. So, Danny put on that business building for 2022. And we were there. It was about 4 hours, from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, packed with lots and lots and jam-packed with lots of information. It was incredible. We were able to ask questions. I got so much information, especially in regards to sales. You know what I mean? In regards to real estate sales, and then building your business up from that. Because sales, and that's what I want to get into today. It's interesting because I would never consider myself a salesperson. A lot of the way that I do sales it tends to be natural and just authentic, right? Natural and authentic, which is a gift and a curse. It's a gift because, at times you can get things, when it's time for you to make a sale, you can pretty much use enthusiasm, etc., to get things done. The curse is that it's not replicable. It's not replicable. So you can't build a business if your processes aren't replicable. And I'm shooting ahead of myself. So let me get into my first thing. As you see up on the screen. Building a business is boring. Yeah, you ready? It's boring. And Instagram and Facebook essentially have glamorized this entrepreneurship. It's boss this, boss that. Entrepreneurs hustling, grind, and don't stop. If you're building, most successful businesses are boring. It's boring. Look, I'm in real estate. I can go in, as I have access to all kinds of properties, $1 million properties, sub $100,000 properties, beautiful properties, estates, land. That's nice. It's nice, right? That's a glamorous part of it. But real estate tends to be a lot of paperwork. If you're building a real business, you have to get on the phones. You have to understand sales. That's why you'll see most real estate agents, and I think the number is, it's like 90% of real estate is done by 10% of the agents. 10% of the agents are making most of the money. And most of these agents, people don't even know who they are. There's some huge agents in Boca, and you say their name here, nobody knows who they are. And there's some, some very successful agents here, and you go outside and nobody knows who they are. If you're not doing deals, you especially don't know who anybody is, because you're going to do a lot of deals with some of these same agents, but these agents don't necessarily live a very glamorized life. They tend to live a very structured life. They have a structure, and a lot of people's businesses will not succeed because they don't want to have any structure. You want to get up anytime you want to get up. You want to, it could be 9, 10, 11 o'clock. You mosey on into the office. You have coffee and talk, coffee and donuts. Then you go to lunch, 1, 2 o'clock. Hope and just hope that someone calls you. And that's not how you build a business. Building businesses, especially when you're doing it by yourself, when you're autonomous, it takes discipline. It takes discipline, and there's truly almost not enough time in the day. People ask me all the time, Mike, why are you getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, or 4 o'clock in the morning? It's because I have enough time in the day. If I were to get up, and I've done it before, and I'm not saying that I don't ever go back to sleep or whatever the case may be, but let's say something happens and I end up getting up at 7 o'clock and still want to maintain a schedule. I have to skip something. Either I'm going to have to skip my gym time, my self time. I'm going to have to skip my part of my prospecting time. You can't not prospect. A day not prospect, as anyone will tell you, is a day not worked. You have to get regimented, and it will be fun. We work hard now, and we're regimented now so that we can have options and freedom in the future, so that our family can have options and freedom. So it's important. It's important. It's imperative that you get yourself a schedule. And one of the things that I thought was interesting, especially for people who come from the workforce, corporate or whatever, is that you get up for yourself. You get up for your supervisor and your bosses when you were corporate or from the workforce. If you had to be there at 8 o'clock, you were there at 8 o'clock. And if you weren't there at 8 o'clock, for X amount of time, you would get fired. And so here in real estate, a lot of people need to fire themselves. You can't maintain a schedule. And I'm just explaining to you what it takes to have a successful business. It's not all fun and games. I'm not out showing how beautiful homes all the time. I'm not, meeting the most interesting people all the time. It's not all rah. It's face in the dirt, getting to it, and it can be a lonely process in business. Remember that. I say this, the last thing I say in regards to the schedule and etc. is that that's where I notice, and it kind of leads into the next thing, is that we tend to be immature with our businesses. Businesses are very immature. Just because you're natural gifted talent doesn't mean you can't put in the hard. You're not going to put in the hard work, regardless of whether you're talented or not. Talent just makes it easier for the transition, but you still have to put in that work, because the talent is not going to get it done. The talent is going to have you working for the rest of your life, and that's not what you want, is it? Right? You're the reason why you are building a business is so that you can build what is it? Is it legacy? Is it freedom? Like I said, is it options? You really got to think about it. And then if you continue doing it just based on talent and not skill, and not starting to develop a skill, you'll be doing it forever. But and you'll stay in that word there, an immature business. You'll be grinding for the rest of your life. Nothing wrong with the grind. There's nothing wrong with the hustle. but I don't think most of us want to do it for the rest of our lives. When you're 60, 70, if you're not doing it just for the sake of, because it makes you happy, it ends up being real sad. Getting to the third thing. Getting into the third thing. You got to do the work. You have to do the work. There's nothing else to it. And it's not based on the results, right? Although the results do matter. Don't let anybody tell you the results don't matter. At the end of the year, it's black and white. It is about the numbers, 1,000%. But you need to be doing activities that end up leading to the results. It's like planting a seed. You have to plant, make sure the dirt's right. You put the seed in the ground, you put the seed on top of it, and you have to water it on time. Eventually, if they're good seeds, they will grow. And then, and the only way you'll know if they're good seeds is by the results, and you're gonna know. But you need to check on your numbers. Like take real estate for instance, when you're doing cold calling. Let's talk about cold calling, which is not the most exciting thing in the world. You have to count how many. And right now, dial outs don't mean anything because you can get 1 million dial outs. Leads are leads, right? But you have to count the amount of contacts. The amount of contacts versus the amount of people that you will follow up with, the amount of people that you follow up with versus the amount of people that you schedule appointments. That's the result of it, is the appointments. Actually, that appointments is another number, and then you get the listings. Then you got to figure it out because it becomes a numbers game. You got to figure out, and the numbers is going to tell you how great you're getting at with your skill set. But it's the work, it's the activity. I have to do the dials, that activity, in order to get the contacts. I got to improve on my skill set in order for me to turn the contacts into either follow-ups or appointments, hopefully appointments, and then improve your skill set once more into listings or buyers, whichever one you're doing an appointment for. But at each point, you can check to see where your skill set is lacking if you keep on top of the numbers. But this is just the work that you have to put in. The second, I don't know, it was the second thing. What is it? A, B, C, D. D4. Pause. Focus. You got to focus. What you'll see in a lot of immature businesses is a lack of specificity, a broad outlook on everything. Nothing is niched. Whenever I hear people talk like that, I'm doing all of this. Even within real estate, what are you doing? Are you working your SOI, your sphere of influence? Are you doing cold calls? Are you doing farming? Are you doing, what and then what is your demographic? Are you working with the move down buyers? Are you working with people who are moving up, upsizing? Are you moving with the move down is downsizing? Are you working with people who want to go live on golf courses? Are you working in townhomes? There was one guy he's still around. He would come, we call him Mr. Townhome. Like that. He knew that there were all those townhomes. I don't know if you see them on Village, but they're all the way through Palm Beach County. And you can essentially make a living just off of those condos. No one understands those condos. And what I've noticed is that the people who specifically target a niche are the most successful. But the people who are ready and willing to take everybody and everything are too stretched out. And bad leads cover up your good ones. And you'll never know what a good one is because you never specifically told yourself what a lead was or what a client looks like to you. You got to start getting extremely focused, and then you get more extremely focused within your prospecting. You're not doing 1,000 things at one time. We have to see I mean, and I'm hoping you all are grasping this. I know this is once again, this is not the most exciting conversation. It's not the most exciting conversation. These are tangible things that will take you to the next level. This is what I'm doing myself. And I know these things because I've tried it, and then I've seen other people try it, and I see people who continue going down that route. And it's the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Start to get specific and start to focus on what it is that you're supposed to be, what it is your business is. McDonald's, we know what McDonald's is. Is McDonald's selling spaghetti now? Are they selling tacos? Get it down, and develop a process/system that's replicable. You have to develop something that's replicable. I said on Community Beacon on Friday at 6:30, y'all check us out, me and Joel Simmons. I said it on Community Beacon. I said that when I first started this business, and I've always been this way. So that was good. I don't know where I learned it from. But what I learned was that as I'm starting my processes and as I'm doing the work, as I'm building my business, I'm going to create processes that are replicable for me not to do. Matter of fact, I know where I got it from. I got it from watching people who started businesses and made themselves the focal point of those businesses. And then when they leave those businesses, they can't even go on vacation. They can't take a couple of days off without their phone, without the phone attached to the hip and having to answer every call because there's no processes. And if they're out of that business for any extended period of time, I mean, a month, 2 months, 3 months, it's over. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. So I said that to say this is that you have to build processes that are replicable. In my business right now, I have people who do certain things. Shouts out to Angel one time. Let me not say people. Angel, who we built up processes and we've worked together on, and I've worked on them a lot, just informing her of it. That's just replicable to the point where I don't necessarily have to be around in order for things to happen. She can do a lot other than open up a door. Because she's not a realtor, you know what I mean? So we can essentially plug and play, put a realtor in that place, whether they're a buyer or a listing agent that we hire, and then teach them the process of how you do your buyer consultation versus your listing consultation or presentation. And they can go in, but everything else will be taken care of. All they have to do is leave and just give Angel the information that they got from the presentation, which will be on essentially be the listing contract, which a person can, just take it in there, take the listing contract in there, take the CMAs in there. All you have to do is learn the style of sales, which I'm learning myself more and more of these different presentations. But it has to be a process. It has to be replicable. Otherwise, you are building a job for yourself. And the worst boss or supervisor you can have is yourself, because you will crack the whip if because you think this business needs you to succeed, and it does essentially, because you haven't built up any processes. So anybody that comes in, if something were to happen to you, you became incapacitated, you're in trouble. Build processes, build replicable. And here's my last point. And I'm gonna let you all go. It's only a 30-minute night. Cool. Modeling after successful people who came before you. Don't let anybody shame you into thinking that, or really it's your ego. Don't let your ego shame you into looking towards someone who's being successful. And sometimes these people could be younger than you. I'm at the age where some people are younger than me and they're more successful. So you can model after them. And it could be about your same age. Nothing wrong with that. Could be older. It doesn't matter. If they have a successful business that has all of the other intangibles that I told you before, You can model your business after them. You should model your business after them. I am following Danny's blueprint, building multiple offices, building multiple agents underneath with 6-7 figure businesses, and then being able to sell off his businesses, and the people who were started with him enjoy the fruits of that labor, and they can stay or they go. Like it's plug and play. Michael Johnson actually really broke it down. He has an excellent model going on. And I'm just looking at like, this makes sense. I do not want to be in production for the rest of my life. I do not want to be opening lot boxes when I'm 65, unless I want to. I don't want to be forced to do things. I want the option of, Mike, why are you out here? Because I felt like I like this client. I want to open up this lot box. I don't think that's going to be the case. You understand what I mean? But you just the point of it is being able to model someone who's went before you and is accessible. I like when I'm in the programs, I want the person who's teaching the program to be accessible. I don't want it to be this figurehead and that's just sending me videos. That's me personally. Some people that they don't mind that, and that's cool. But I want to know that this person is real to me. You know, I can fly out to wherever when I get to a certain point and have that one-on-one and have that interaction. Was this tough? It was. It was tough for me because this is just not. I mean, this is what's going to take you to the next level. Forget all of the, you know, this stuff for the ego, man. It's a lot of ego things happening. A lot of things going on for our ego. And I get it. Instagram and Facebook will have you think that way. That's not where it's at, people. You can build a business. You can build a successful business. It will not necessarily be exciting all the time. I'm not saying that you can't be grateful for it, that you can't have joy within your business, that you're not going to be happy within your business. I'm just saying it's not going to be exciting all the time. You're going to, you know, when you're putting in the work, doing some of the mundane things, making some of the phone calls. I heard a guy say he made 75,000 or 75,000 phone calls in 1 year, had 7,500 contacts. I doubt he sold that. I mean, they add up, but I mean, it's work. That's work. To sit on the phone for hours? Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. But at the end of the day, if you do it right, if you build it right and you build it right from the beginning, it will be worth it. It will lead to your freedom. It will be the keys to your freedom, and it can be the beginning of a legacy for a lot of you people, a lot of you. Okay? Listen, I love you guys. Thanks for checking in. Any questions, any comments, let me know. You guys know I'm still selling homes, right? I'm still selling homes. So if you know anybody who's looking for a property or who's looking to sell their property, have them contact me, please. Other than that, love you guys. I will see you on, hopefully, you know, worst come worst, Friday, definitely 6:30, Community Beacon. We're in talks. Me and Joel. It's going to be an excellent show. As always, we're bringing the fire and just real life knowledge, mindset, and change that you'll get from us. I will see you Friday. Check in with us. Have a good one. Have a great week.